What is up, risk takers? Do you have what it takes to be a legend? Before we begin the round one of the Risk Legends video, this video is a VC game analysis of my round one video. If you would prefer to watch the unedited game with the VC, the link is in the show notes below on my new channel, FreePete YouTube. Okay, this game will contain spoilers, and we'll go over the round one Legends game with my color and my explanation. And as I said, if you'd prefer to watch the video in its raw form, it's about 2 hour long game, and that is available on FreePete, or the link is available in the show notes. What is up, risk takers? Welcome to the Kill Pete strategy. I am Pete. I'm a top player in Risk Global Domination, daily release on YouTube. I'm doing weekday streams on Twitch for the winter. I'm doing my Risk News Q&A program, the Waiting on Your Best Behavior podcast, and GeoGuessr Daily Challenges on my other channel, FreePete. If you are interested getting better at the game of Risk, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and come along the ride with me for today's episode. We're going to be playing in round one of the Risk Legends tournament, and boy howdy do I have a group. Check this out, guys. I'm playing in group 8 versus General Elatar 1054, Laser Falcon 007, One Shot, Rudolph the Daddy, and Sasha Fierce Garcia, also known as Stacy. Really looking forward to hanging out with this group and playing our best game. Settings for round one. We're going to be playing New York, Capital Conquest. Blizzards are on, fog portals are off, alliances are also on. It is a progressive game with an automated bot, balance blitz dice, and a 60-second turn timer. All that participate advance from round 1 to round 2, and the cutoff will be before round 3. Top 100 points. Let's do our best for round 1. I'm wishing everyone competing in the tournament and everyone in my group the best of luck. Hope we all have a great game. Okay. I'm in the VC now with these folks. I'm going to pause the recording until we get a game. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have our lobby. I will introduce the players. Playing as red is myself. This is the main Pete account with 2,005 hours played in 5708 games, 2196 and 719. Playing as purple, flying the flag of Canada, we have Sasha Garcia with 54 hours played and 1870 record. The true Chad playing as orange is Rudolph the Daddy, sitting at master rank, 553 hours with 1882 games and a 432 and 746 record. We have top player, former Risk Legends finalist and Free For All tournament finalist, One Shot, Grandmaster from Guernsey, 250 hours and 43 and 56. We have General Elatar from an unspecified location. Ranked as a beginner, he's fooling nobody, 713 hours and 2,900 games. And finally, Laser Falcon from Antarctica, why not Uncle Arctica, playing as green, 343 hours in the game and 98 and 345. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are ready to go, I wish you the best of luck. Ready up, please. Yeah, good luck, guys. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what I'm going to focus on with my analysis, because this is a VC game, I'm not able to do game analysis in real time. So I am recording this after the fact, and seeing as how this is a more than 2 hour long game, I'm going to try and skip most of the dead air. I'm going to skip most of the parts of the game that are not very strategically interesting, and I'm going to focus on what I think is relevant to focus on for you, so we can get this game analysis in hopefully in significantly less than 2 hours. And of course, if you do want the full unedited version, it is posted on my second channel, FreePete. So I will link to the video specifically and link to my new channel in the show notes. Let's go.
vote to Suicide Pete for that dreadful Uncle Arctica joke.
It might be dreadful to you, but it's charming to me.
I liked it, Pete.
Thank you.
Vote
to suicide.
3 times.
No, are you sick of my, are you already sick of my material? Unbelievable. Okay, so we're pulling the VC. It gets old fast, folks. What can I down in terms of volume. We're going to focus on the spawn. So the very first turn is the most important thing. You want to see where everyone caps off because this will determine a lot. First active Laser Falcon, and Laser Falcon chooses a Manhattan cap, indicating that he will go for, likely, the Manhattan bonus. In second position, Orange is Rudolph the Daddy. And just so you all understand, this is a VC game, so I'm going to be playing it verbally against my opponents. And I plan on, as I have Rudolph cap off here. In Southern Queens, I'm third to act. I decide to place my cap on a territory with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strategic commentary after territories to attack, making it difficult to be card blocked. Stacy picks an early game cap, meaning that it's likely to hold an early game bonus, but has only 1, 2, 3 territories it connects to, makes it much harder to card block. One Shot decides to take the northern tip of Staten Island. Again, more typically thought of as an early game cap than a late game cap. A late game cap in progressive capitals is one that can attack more territories, making it more difficult to be card blocked. And we're just seeing everyone ally up now. Everyone's in the VC except for Orange, except for Rudolph. Rudolph is chatting in the thread. So we have 5 of 6 players in the VC, and as I said, we also have 5 of 6 players as Grand Masters.
I mean, I wasn't
in
sure,
general,
right? Because
Elatar,
in
the black
early
player,
game, it's
also
late game,
takes
so-
a late game cap. So his is open to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 territories. I think I have the best
True, very
cap
true.
in the game. Rudolph goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think mine connects to the most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So if we're thinking long term, and we're thinking about potential to hit, my capital is arguably the best capital for late game cap. We do see green work on the Manhattan bonus. Obviously, they're not going to run through a purple 7. It doesn't look like myself, Orange, or Black will be taking bonuses. It looks more likely that purple will and that white will. So have any of you guys practiced this? So that is the first turn moving along fairly quickly. We go through the establishment phase and also increase the speed
If you
of
go
the
knock out
playback
free,
to
I'll
double
take it out.
speed. So we go
If you
through
want
this
one, don't take a bonus, so it's actually
quicker.
Yeah. You don't have to, you can sign it.
After I
But...
put my troops on my attacking and
Okay.
No, you see, if you take up the Manhattan, the green one, and then I attack them into the east outpost.
So on her first turn, Stacy does take the Bronx.
I don't think any difference, right? Ugh. All green for turn 1 bonuses.
And on his first turn, One Shot does take Staten Island. Okay.
Well, these guys are 2.
So at this point, we see 3 players holding. Oh, we have to wait till Green's turn. Green takes it on turn 2, not turn 1. And bingo. The establishment phase, okay? So we see white player has taken the Staten Island bonus, green player has taken the Manhattan bonus, and purple player has taken the Bronx bonus right off the bat. And it's more and more likely that myself, Black, and Orange will not have bonuses this game. Good about it. We're going to go through the early game before we skip. So the early game, I would say, is the first trade maybe 2. But basically what we see now is a lot of jockeying for position and players trying to
mighty weak.
Establish
mighty fragile over there.
their bonuses.
Yeah, I mean,
Hopefully
I don't think
they can get advantage
You're lucky Green didn't get any brand ideas.
enough to make a kill.
Oh no, I had.
But
I mean,
one of the
Do the
fundamental
early game capitals?
issues with progressive
I don't want
capitals
to be one of those people.
So you're saying you're in it
and
for the long
why
haul.
progressive
Oh, I'm in it for more
capitals
than 2 turns.
is
I had a round
a
2,
controversial
opportunity
mode,
once,
especially in
not being able to,
competition,
'cause, another great player just took my cap right away.
is
It
that
starts on the first set. 10 set,
there
it was my
really
cap. I had 10
isn't
set too, so
ever
ended each other's tournaments there on the
a
second turn.
way to
But,
go
hey,
positive
thank you
enough
so much.
from
We got
making a
56
kill,
of his friends hanging out.
despite
But
the
it's always fun
fact
knowing
that
you might
bounties
engage
are
tournament competition.
3 points in Legends. So the way Legends is
Don't forget,
scored,
I love each
you
and
get
every
2
one of you.
points per placement and 3 points per bounty. So each placement, if you go last, you get 2 points. If you go second last, you get 4 points. If you go fourth place, you get 6 points. Third place is 8 points. Second place is 10 points. First place is 12 points. And then each bounty, each kill you make. Now it's possible to tie people for lowest in capitals, but each
What
kill
do
you
you
make
have
is worth 3 points. So a perfect game is 27 points. You see me pull a
Chicken's good.
joker.
Uh,
Okay, so I'm sitting on cap now. Not really investing anything off cap. And the basic strategy for progressive capitals, because your cap defends
because I'm borrowing his laptop,
at 2.5-ish
I made sure
ratio,
just in case it goes for a while. And I think
you generally want to keep the vast majority of your troops on capital,
as I'm sure you may be familiar. If you're used to my Uncle Arctica joke, Stacey, then you know what happens.
because the only way someone can really kill you is by either throwing their entire weight into you or collaborating with someone else. And this is an open collaboration tournament. Players are able to VC and collude. VC is kind of why I'm doing this game analysis for you, so you can understand what you're seeing and understand that the roots of the game of Risk come from sitting at a board game with your friends. And a lot of the outcomes, juxtaposed with a video game, a lot of the outcomes are negotiated. So on the one hand, sitting in VC with some of these people, some new friends, some old friends, is a great way to relax and connect with people. The part that makes progressive capitals a bit more controversial in a tournament context is to what extent are we trying to balance a fun experience for our players versus a skillful one? So is the purpose of this tournament to test who is the best Risk player in the world, or is the purpose of this tournament to give players the most fun experience for the most amount of people, or is it somewhere in between? And I don't presume to tell anybody where they should fall on that spectrum, because I'm not the one running the tournament. We do see Rudolph, we do see Orange skip a card. So the reason you would skip a card in progressive is because he is sitting in the 6th trade, and now he stands to get the 15. Remember, cards progress. The first trade is 4, then 6, then 8, then 10, then 12, then 15, and then up by 5. So the ability to make profitable kills is almost never without some kind of collaboration in a small map in progressive capitals. And this is part of why Spud, the host of the Risk Legends tournament, decided to design this map with Blizzard's a small map with only 3 real viable bonuses, but there's 6 players, right? Okay, so because I know that I am going to be one of the have-nots in this game, we already see green player holding a +5 is starting to pull further ahead in terms of troops. He's at 72 troops to my 50. So I have to be careful to keep the vast majority of my troops on cap and to make sure that I'm able to take cards. I'm able to do this for a while longer yet. Okay, so I traded. I got the 4. I think Rudolph made a mistake by skipping, because that actually advantages the 3 halves, the purple, the green, and the white player, should any of them have chosen to skip, but it worked. So in retrospect, if he could have seen the future, it wasn't a mistake. But I think personally, if I was in One Shot or Stacy's seat, I would have skipped as well.
Are we just chilling?
And then he wouldn't have gained much, but there would have been even more troops on the board. Okay, we are now in the
Yeah, I can hear you.
6th
bro.
turn, 7th turn.
Yeah, try and get back in.
Okay, so and General Alatar, the black player,
What are you seeing, man?
says that he has disconnected. So we lose a player from the game,
Really?
and we're going to see him bought out, and that will have a significant effect on the outcome of this game. This also, the fact that it's a 5 of 6 Grandmaster lobby, and the fact that the game only took 2 hours, I think has a lot to do with this early disconnect. So we all wish him a good game, but unfortunately, General Elatar's round ends here. He is not able to reconnect, and we have a bot out from the black player. So we are going to expect that this bot is going to haphazardly attack off the capital, and then whomever is after black in the turn order would be advantaged in the ability to snag that capital.
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, he's offline.
There it
We
is.
do see bot
I don't know
motion.
what bot it is.
We do see bot
I think I
attacks.
think it's different.
Well, so bots have different personalities.
Yeah.
He was gonna roll my 24 then.
He is
Different-
sitting
they have
still.
different
The bot
paths.
is still sitting on his capital with
And then there's
19
This
troops.
one, I don't know if I should give it away or not. This one appears to be a continent taker.
The continent taker, yeah.
Anyone objected with that before Brooklyn?
I can't really, I can't really abide that, unfortunately. There's an unfortunate circumstance of Elatar capping next to my cap. So, oh boy.
So the question is then when, if you're the green player or the white player, because they both seem lined up.
You might back up into Brooklyn Heights with your 16.
Maybe orange as well, seem lined
I
up to
will.
snag
Start
this
out, I'm already
capital.
doing it.
When do you do it? And ideally, you're going to want to
I'm giving you
do
a fucking
it
free second cap. Come on.
when they're even less than 19 troops, because you still need about
That's
40
right,
troops to
that's right.
confidently hit a
Only gonna use
19.
15 for your cap.
And that's a lot of troops relative to how many they all have. I think we can still see the lead of green player now,
If they blast through it, do I have
sitting at
any-
90 troops to my
Oh,
58.
I mean, we can play next trade.
So I'm dead last in terms of troops. And I prioritized having a late game cap
I could swap caps.
because I expected this game to go a while. But of course, you do lose some early equity.
One in the middle. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
There would have been no way to predict that Elatar was going to bot. But having early game equity,
Hey, man, if you're trying to
having
play
more
this
troops in the
out,
early
you
game
can do it.
enables you to
Ah!
potentially
He's got the +5.
make
He is doing good.
profitable kills.
I mean, I'm open to suggestions, but that bot's freaky. Right in the
Yeah,
middle.
we're gonna have to let it play out. I think
So
it's
there's a
cool.
lot of
Might not even
negotiating
exactly
now
what it is.
happening.
Exactly.
If
We might still
people
see
are
basically
like, hey, if
one
I
of
do
the
this,
most
can you do
compact
that? Vis-a-vis trying to take
Which is
out
actually kind of like ideal because then it doesn't make it super turnover.
the
heavy, so
black
you get the
bot.
cap for essentially free.
We see one shot hit a 4. And the Elatar bot continues to expand out of the middle.
Ooh, doesn't have a set. Doesn't have a set. Ooh, that's a set.
Rudolph loses a 6. One shot loses a 3. And Laser loses a single. They're sitting on the cap
I'd love
with
to take that.
14
Everyone making
troops.
noises.
So,
Everyone making those noises.
if you were lined up to make
Oh,
a
wait, now that you
kill,
have it, I will not hold the 2 caps on the bottom, I'll just sit and accept the cap.
black player,
Basically.
the AI, sitting on 5
I think
cards
it's not.
at, I can hide myself as I'm blocking the shot,
You know what?
at 61 troops for 5 cards. So what's the set? The set is 20. So you do go quite negative to make the kill. Go negative in terms of troops. But
There you go.
Thank you.
you do get those 3 bounty points and the extra 2 placement because you bump everyone up higher. I'm forced to trade my Joker, which I don't love. I could take this bot bounty right now. And I could get those 5 cards. And I would set in, I took a 25 and I would get a 30. I probably should have taken that bot bounty. Okay, folks. So here's the thing that I want you guys to notice. I saw that kill. Okay. I could absolutely have taken the bounty on Elatar. My concern is that that would have been an overextension, and then I end up second last this game. We will never know whether or not that was an error. And I'm sure a lot of people at the time saw it. I definitely saw it at the time. I didn't make any comment about it. I wasn't trying to give anyone any ideas. But I see that line to getting that bounty point, and I almost took it. Let's continue. All right, Stacy was in a similar situation. Stacy could have taken the bot's bounty. One job puts in 8. He also puts in 35. We now have 56 troops removed. Now it is unarguably profitable to kill this bot. And that is exactly what he does. We see General Elatar get removed from the game.
Very nice.
And one shot gets the first bounty point. Okay, so this is pretty much the end of the early game. One shot sets and abandons his original capital. Brilliant move, in my opinion. And gives it for free to Laser Falcon. Okay, so one shot gets a bounty point. He also upgrades his capital because now that the early game is over, those extra 3 points from those extra 3 troops from Staten Island are almost useless. But what he has gained, he's gained a kill. He's not down in troops. I'm still the shortest stack. And he has a better capital. I absolutely love One Shot's game so far, and that will ring true for the majority of his game. I think One Shot made one key mistake, and we can get into it. But that mistake was a verbal and psychological mistake, not really a gameplay error. Okay, so we are now in the classic progressive capitals stalemate.
That's not the blocky Stacy, by the way. It's just moving slightly.
Yeah, okay, this was actually a mistake in my opinion. One Shot should have known that pointing a 39 capital at Stacy, pointing a 39 stack at Stacy's capital would appear super threatening, and you could already guess how the purple player addresses it. Stacy sets and gets the 65.
Yeah, I know.
Sure
Sorry.
feels nice.
And immediately removes that 39 stack,
Why would you smash that?
which represents a fairly large percentage of One Shot's troops. I'm now middle of the pack in terms of troops, which is exactly where I want to be. I don't want to appear to be too threatening in these types of situations. My goal is to be everyone's best friend for as long as possible,
Oh my god.
because it really does end up being a patience game. One Shot reciprocated losing 40 troops by breaking Stacy's bonus and pointing his gun at her again, which wouldn't necessarily be my style of play, because I am, as I said, I'm trying to negotiate a win here, so I'm trying to be as friendly and nice to as many people as possible for as long as possible. Okay. So there are a lot of take a card pass type turns, and these are the turns that really grind on, because they're, again, it's a controversial thing whether or not progressive capitals are enjoyed, whether or not progressive capitals are skillful or thought of as skillful. Where I come down on that side of the equation is I do enjoy them for the skill that they have, but I feel like take a card pass style risk gameplay is quite basic skill wise. And once you understand the heuristics that you go through, as I said, five of six of this lobby was Grandmasters, we could reasonably expect to take a card and pass forever, because there isn't really an incentive built into the structure to end the game. Someone has to overextend. Someone has to make an error, which with Grandmasters happens less and less. Someone has to suicide, or someone has to bot out. These are the mechanisms for ending these games.
Always risking the free ones.
And being that I'm interested in making exciting television for you guys, I'm going to try and cut through a little bit. So we do see One Shot and Stacy punch each other for a while. And I want to advance to sometime in the future. Okay. Next time the board moves. Actually quite far in the future. Here. You just cut what? Full hour.
Pete, is your Germany idea
Okay.
for us?
No.
Green still has 2 capital, 769 and 494. Myself and One Shot have about 1,000 caps. Rudolph is 1,200, and we see Stacy move and take Blue's capital. Stacy could hear that a lot of people were discussing back and forth about card blocking her, so she abandons her original cap and moves to the one on Staten Island. The problem is she actually takes
I mean, you already have one bounty.
a worse capital for her trouble. At least the position she was in on the Bronx connects to 3 territories. This one, her 610 cap now, only connects to 2. One Shot could have taken the bounty then and there, but then of course she only has 1 card, and that would put him next to be eliminated. We see Green take the cap, but doesn't guard it very strong. We see Orange set in. I think he's thinking about taking the bounty. Also chooses not to. He's also thinking about taking the cap. He does take the cap, but also doesn't guard it super, super strong. Leaves only 123 troops there. I think about trading in my Joker,
Bro. What? I mean, you've been the
but
one
I
who's been the
don't
worst friend
do
of
it.
this entire game.
I'm doing the same thing I've been doing all game, taking a card and
You know,
pass.
worst friend,
And
interrupt to see something else is
guys,
happening,
you
I think that's best friend.
you know,
That's
the implication that I'm not a
With friends
patient
like you,
man,
Sean,
the
I tell you,
implication
with
that
friends
I
like you.
am
I'm everyone's friend. That's so easy.
I'm thinking a lot. I'm just not doing or saying very much because I don't actually think there is anything correct to do or say. It's a whole lot of hurry up and wait. Okay. So from this board state, the correct thing to do, the table has decided, is to card block Stacy such that she cannot get out of the Staten Island position. I think Stacy goes through one more trade before we start to see that card block be set up.
FreePete YouTube channel?
Now, the way
Yeah, so I used to do the
card
podcast,
blocks
so
are
it's
set
always
up
something I but I love doing it. I learned a lot
is
about the
that you
mechanisms of the
allow
community.
the
More recently,
player
doing
you are
the,
trying to card
Kill
block
Beats
to
Q&A
take
and
cards
stream
and
show. I
then
love doing
set.
stuff. I think it's
And
feels
then
good.
once they no longer have a set in the kitty, you set up
So I wanted to just put all the
barricades
stuff that doesn't
around
include
their
the
territories because they have the majority,
this game, I think,
some
will be
or
the
all of their
sort of
troops
full
on their
length
cap.
game, no matter how long it
You
takes
set up
on the
barricades
sort
to
of frontier
prevent
channel, but
them
then we'll keep game analysis and sort of a
from
more
getting
detailed
cards. Now,
portion, maybe some
where
endgame
would
stuff,
Stacy get her
so that's
cards
a
from
bite-sized viewable portion for the audience. They don't have to
if
sit through all this dead air of take a card and pass.
this territory was removed?
Unstrategic games. And we'll see if it works.
The
Right?
position is quite easy to
I
card
like
block.
stuff, right?
And unfortunately for Stacy, that is not something that I am the only one who sees.
Well, I really love the podcast episodes. But I
See,
think like
a lot of people-
substantially.
A lot of people do, and that's
So she's
that's the
sitting
shame.
on
It's a
one
huge
card.
baseball of risk. You know, there's a subset of people who are very invested in this, who put a ton of time into improving their game, becoming a grandmaster, becoming a top player. But it just doesn't have the kind of breadth of appeal that sort of like, hey, here's a 20-minute video on how you win a prog game does, right?
We do see Laser Falcon remove the exterior purple positions.
Cool. That's not an idea.
And we see him set his stack here, which is larger than the 8 troops I
Yeah.
think Stacy gets. So this is a position
things
that she would not be able to get a card off of.
Yeah. I know. Well.
So there
we already
is
suggested something.
one card in the kitty,
That's all right.
only one available card off cap before she's blocked. So we have block number 1 set up. Stacy takes a card, and in my opinion makes the fatal error of not leaving a large stack
You'll have to go fight troops off cap there.
on that 3.
Yeah.
I think she needed to leave a significant percentage of her troops, like half, on that 3, because it makes it very easy for one shot to reinforce off capital
Almost full fight off cap there. Whoops.
and set up a 2 additional territory block. And there's no way for Stacy to get more than 8 troops a turn. Cannot get any extra cards. The card block is in effect. And now the noose has slowly tightened around purple player, who will go out 5th place in this game. We see a bit of the struggle while the card block is trying to be broken. Okay. I think the only way you solve it, all right, the noose slowly tightens. Rudolph has joined. I'm the only one who hasn't joined because I'm not trying to engender any ill will from any of the players. And as you can now see, the ratio in troops between everyone else and the purple player is 2-1.
All right, folks, this is my final cup of coffee for the day.
And we skip
Once
a
I
little
run out
bit.
of hot bean juice,
Skip
might
a
see a
little bit ahead.
different vibe from the Peteman.
One
I'm
shot
not telling you.
releases the
Would you like me to
block.
go? Would you like me to go? And if yes, cool.
And would you like me to clean up the bits after your turn?
Yeah. I mean, we're getting very much to the point.
And he says, would you like to come out?
Just give the option. If Stacey wanted to hit somebody
So instead of taking the bounty on purple and having to go 2-1 negative on the 837 cap, he convinces the purple player to attack into his capital, going negative on herself instead, feeding him her own
I
bounty
think everyone's time has been wasted.
and
I'm
3
not suggesting it's
cards.
I think the next game may be 1 of the seconds.
Right, I'm not suggesting that's your fault. I think everyone's time is certainly being wasted.
What do you do if you're purple? You can bot and get placement wherever your bot places, but it'd still probably be
Yeah, GG, Stacey.
dead last. We wish Stacy a GG, and One Shot gets 3 cards and his second bounty of the game. Okay, 4 players remain, and we are in a very stable state. I have 2 capitals, a 1567 and 1182. I took the 1182 capital when Rudolph mentioned in the chat that he might have disconnected. I wouldn't have made a move on one of my opponent's capitals unless there was some deniability on my behalf. As I said, I'm really, really trying my best not to be the bad guy, because the way you lose these games is by getting teamed up on, suicided into, somebody makes a mistake, or somebody disconnects. So I'm trying to avoid those negative outcomes as much as possible. I'm just trying to get them. I'm trying to maximize points in the round. The first bounty I had a shot at, but I think I would have died if I went for it. The second bounty I had no shot at, because One Shot went immediately after Stacy suicided into him. All right, 4 players remain. How does this game end? Well, because it's a stable state, because everyone has within a trade worth of troops, and everyone has almost all their troops on capital, there has to be some way to negotiate a card block. Now, Orange has 2 capitals. I have 2 capitals. Green has a lot of off-cap troops. And One Shot has an excellent capital in the middle of the board. So this game could theoretically last much, much longer. So what is the impetus for change? Well, part of it was a key mistake, and this is what I will get at. When I say I don't think One Shot made a technical error, I think One Shot made a negotiating error, where he says, and I don't know exactly where it is, but he says that it's not really possible to card block me. And I think Green takes this as a challenge, and without really using the VC and without using alliances with me, I don't know what he did with Orange, but we are now going to see the other 3 players attempt to mutually card block white
You kind of end up even
over the
with accidentally, you
course
end up appealing to, like, the lowest
of
common
a
denominator
number of
in some way. So
turns.
there's all sorts of, like,
We
prescribed
see
sort of,
the
career path for philosophy students is
we see Green players setting up 963, 24,
like
25.
academic philosophy. So as far as pursuing anything seriously,
Right, One Shot sitting with
I like
a
your- I like
16,
your-
insisting
Sorry,
upon
back
taking
there.
cards. We see Rudolph's 597. So the
Back here,
noose is starting to tighten around the middle of
you know,
the
like my successes to be
board.
my own, my failures to be my own.
And the ability for that to happen, we do see Green hit it as well. So the ability for One Shot to take cards is dwindling. And I have still not really committed any troops to this equation. I haven't had to do anything other than start trading behind my capital instead. I like how Green and Orange initiate this card block without really asking me. I just get to chill. Part of my VC strategy for these types of situations is I have noticed that when I get too aggressive, I get piled on. I try not to
To whittle you
gloat.
down, yes.
I try
Whittle
to be
you down.
friendly and kind and relaxed. And I try and be funny. And like, hey, how's it going? And you know, part of that is genuine. I think a lot of that, and I get Double Joker. I'm very excited about Double Joker. Who doesn't? Who doesn't love both the Jokers? All right, folks.
Right, that's you guys. You stuck
A
with
lot
me.
of it is genuine. I really like people, and I think that shows, right? I enjoy connecting with other
Yeah,
people.
well, you're the one with 2 bounties. I don't think anyone's too worried about me.
and just sitting here taking cards. One shot has been sets it up such that he sitting on 5 cards. He's like, I'm going to punch green. So green abandons the block. But I think there is a psychological component when 3 of your opponents, when the table decides to collapse on you, right? When 3 of your opponents indicate that they are going to make you
I
die.
assume you were busy with school. Be my guess.
If you were one shot, what would you do in this situation, right? So he has a few more cards to take before he's going to have to reinforce a decent amount of troops off capital. Right, the block has now just expanded into even harder positions. He can't hit an 804 cap. He can't hit a 4,000 cap. He can't hit another 4,000 cap. Rudolph sits at the 565 and reinforces. So we do see the noose tighten again. Okay, so we see a 700 block here. I continue to trade behind my capital with green and orange, but we do not give one shot any additional cards. Okay, so he's 1 card left.
I love that.
But that
That's so
card
good,
is his
man. I'll show
5th.
you. I'm gonna sit on 12.
But that card is his 5th. So there is always that spot where you can punch through a block if you have more than a set, and Rudolph decides to keep that block on. So now we see a full block, right? All of the territories that border one shot's territories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are massive. The smallest one is just under 600 troops. One shot probably has a set on 4, but I don't think the set is quite 595. I open green's capital. That was a key move, okay? And I throw him a thumbs up. So the reason I've left, and everyone has left the Manhattan bonus the entire game, but we are way past the point where those 5 troops matter because the sets are in, I think, around 500. But what I've done is I've allowed the green capital access to the rest of the board. I guess he still is blocked by himself. Someone would also have to help me with that by this one here. But my idea was that maybe green takes the white bounty, but we'll see. Okay. One shot sets in with a 500 set, and he does the math in his head, and he says this is a low odds possibility to take a card on that 600 stack. 500 is not guaranteed. 506 does successfully destroy 595 troops. So there is an attacker's advantage in Risk. So keep in mind, folks, that's not that outlandish of a roll. But Black says, now you're back on cap.
Hey, thank you, Brave for Life. Oh, the Prince, thank you so much, man.
And now you don't have a set. The block is now secure. One shot does not get a card this turn. And Laser Falcon just says, you said you were uncard blockable. Well, here we are. We see one shot move entirely off capital, setting himself up to at least take a card or potentially punish the player who put him in that situation. Green relents, retreats to capital. Rudolph sets in with 510. I'm also sitting on 5 cards, so I will get the 515.
I mean, look, I think it's fairly clear that
Rudolph could take the bounty on one shot now.
It's like, I like to feel
Everyone's got to run back to their caps.
yeah, oh,
On the run.
wow, everyone's scared now. Wow, okay.
I could take the bounty on one shot now.
Run back
No,
to
well, I
the
mean,
caps.
yeah, I mean, that's it. I was the most difficult card off the anyway. You always against me. That is a
Instead, I take a free capital.
yeah, no, respect.
I'm now sitting with 3 capitals, thinking ahead. Again, trying to win the game, get the most points I can get. To put 666 troops on the capital. A 4,600, 1205, and a 666 cap.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it is going to continue like this, do I just stand someone and leave and we do negotiate then stay, or is it all over for one shot? I just stand someone random. I could do a filtered spin wheel. What do you guys? Who's 170? Who's no 168? Who is 70 or 100? Who's taking 16 up?
Don't let that be the way you decide.
The dominoes are about to fall in this game.
Any one of you has got a big enough sack to just put it in somewhere. But you're giving yourself. Third one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Fourth and 2 is better than 3rd and 1. And to your point.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Right.
Rudolph puts his troops on capital. Nice set.
I've also seen Speeds play capitalist games, so I have a correct motivation.
An easy card on one shot.
But,
And here we go. What do you do if you're one shot? This takes cards in the middle for a while.
Oh, looks like it's a GG, man.
GG green.
Green has decided to eliminate white.
It is all over for me. It is all over. But well played, guys. I'm glad the game only went to us.
One shot says
Enjoy
GG is a
yourself.
gentleman through and through. I think he played an
Perhaps-
excellent
Perhaps we'll see you
game.
in future rounds.
Yeah,
Finishing
GG.
4th place with
Zero.
2 bounties. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points. GG, one shot. Laser Falcon takes the bounty. Sitting on his capital at 1,620 troops, I ask Rudolph, hey, you want 2nd and 1? Implying that you want to take the bounty on green.
Oh boy.
He doesn't. But I do.
Ah.
We see Pete clean the board, take the bounty on green,
GG, man.
and then
Oh,
I get a
oh.
terrible roll.
Forgot to slider it, eh?
So if you're going to
Yeah,
make
that
large
was
cap
perfect
hits like
roll.
that, it behooves you to roll the slider down to 100%
Roll
to
that slider down
take
100. Don't forget, folks, balance blitz is broken.
so that you don't lose a ton of troops. What was that roll anyways? Go to real time. That roll was atrocious, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Ah.
I think it's really bad. I think I lose like more than double what it costs. 46 to
GG, man.
16. I lose 36. I lose more than double.
Forgot
Yeah.
to slider it, eh?
I complain about the stupid blitz slider being what it
Okay,
is.
guys, I had
That
to
was-
Now
go
sitting
for
at
the
half
goal.
of
Was a
Rudolph's
mistake
troops.
from me.
All my troops on cap. But if I
Roll that
maybe
slider down to
blitz
100.
blitz slider
Don't
that
forget,
cap
folks,
roll,
balance
I
blitz is
wouldn't
broken.
be as immediately dead on board for Rudolph. There was hope for me to maybe either cap run or face off against Rudolph in a balanced 1v1. But because I got such an atrocious cap roll, he just cleans the board. GG Rudolph, GG Laser Falcon, one shot, Stacy, Elatar. I had a great game. I will say I do not enjoy playing a ton of stalemate caps. I agree that it does leverage a certain amount of skill. I don't think that skill is enough to justify its inclusion because the potential to stalemate has the unintended consequence of turning off a ton of players from otherwise playing in really fun, awesome Risk tournaments that I've been working very hard to promote. I finish this game with 13 points.
GG, man.
Second place is worth 10. I get 1 bounty. I got the green kill. Throw the GD to Rudolph the Daddy, who finishes first in 1. It's 15 points. So one shot with his 2 bounties in 4th.
All right, well done,
Gets
everybody.
12. Laser
Game,
Falcon,
everyone.
3rd and 1.
Have
He
yourself
gets
a great day.
11. I get 13. Rudolph gets 15. It's very flat. Everyone got a decent amount of points. I have no doubt I will see
Have a lazy
these folks in later rounds. Best of luck to you if you're competing. Hope you had a ton of fun in round 1, and we'll see you in round 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope I explained a little bit of what you see. I hope the game made some amount of sense. Trying to negotiate the VC, which is one of the higher skills in the game of Risk. And the last thing I want to tell you, if you want to watch the unedited game, it is posted on FreePete. My second channel, FreePete, will be doing in addition to whatever the heck I want. We will be restarting the Waiting on Your Best Behavior podcast. We'll be doing some GeoGuessr Daily Challenge videos. We will be doing Risk News Q&A and anything else that comes to mind. I hope you enjoyed this analysis video. As I said, best of luck to you in your rounds, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Until next time, for all of you on the path to world domination, good games and good luck.